Welcome to the Uncommon Sense Podcast. This is Jay Green along with Michael B. Wright, Senior, Big Brother Mo Better. What's up, Big Brother Mo Better?
Trying to be like the great Big Brother Rock from Tillman College.
Trying to be like you, my friend.
No,
You the
better.
man. You the man, man.
If I did, I'd be looking like a bald-headed slave. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you. I hear you.
man.
Well, man, let's get this party started because we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
The crowd is here.
So let's go ahead and go into the Black experience. The experience that they
Come on.
cannot stop talking about or erase.
Welcome to the Black Experience, Unerased, History They Couldn't Silence. Black Generals Before Integration. Long before the U.S. military was integrated, black generals already existed. In 1940, Benjamin O. Davis Sr. became the first African-American brigadier general in U.S. Army history, while the military was still legally segregated. Despite facing discrimination, restricted commands, and constant scrutiny, Davis helped professionalize black officers and laid the groundwork for future leaders, including the Tuskegee Airmen. His promotion exposed a powerful truth. Segregation was never about ability, it was about access and control. Proof that black excellence has always been unstoppable.
Benjamin O. Davis Sr. right here on the Uncommon Sense Podcast, brother.
That's one man, General Davis.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then his son came in and
Mhm.
took over on the aviation side.
That part, man. The legacy continues, right?
Legacy continues, Doc. The legacy continues.
Yes, sir.
Now, I guess the second part of the Black history experience or the Black experience, because every day for us is Black history, brother. Every day.
Every day of your life.
There you go. Here we go.
Welcome to the Black Experience, Unerased, History They Couldn't Silence. Juneteenth marks June 19th, 1865, when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston and announced that enslaved Africans in Texas were free 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Freedom was delayed not by ignorance but by resistance. Enslavers withheld the truth to maintain forced labor. Juneteenth reminds us that freedom in America was often postponed, resisted, and only realized when enforced, proof that black excellence has always been unstoppable.
Now, right, they said that our Juneteenth is like our Independence Day, but I don't even take that, because, I mean, it was 2 years, Doc,
Yeah,
before they even knew that they were free.
that part, man. Yeah. But like you said, man, it's about oppression.
Oppression, Doc.
Yeah, man.
Oppression.
So what can you do? But we never had an Independence Day in this country, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
We gonna get it, Doc. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. We gonna
Yeah,
get
boy.
our independence, Doc.
Yes,
Here
sir.
we go. We gonna get our independence. Now, let's talk about this. Man, these Epstein Files, Doc.
I told you.
This thing is something serious, Doc.
Man, you ain't got to the beginning of it yet, man.
I mean, folk getting fired, folk getting put in jail.
Oh, yeah. That's what he trying to start World War III.
Yeah, with Iran, right?
Bro, there's there's folks in that file, man. They don't want their names to ever come to light.
We talk about the men so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in them files, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the women.
They in there.
There was some scandalous women up in that file,
They
boy.
in there.
And
Yeah,
some of
man.
them got immunity for this thing.
Hey, bro. The turn on no honor among thieves.
All right, well, let's go. Let's find out a little bit about the females in this thing.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
I'm a girl's girl, but I'm not an all girls girl. Some of y'all are evil as hell, and history has receipts. When people started digging through the Epstein files, especially after that 2008 plea deal, the one that shielded him from federal prosecution, one thing became very clear. There were layers. That agreement didn't just protect him. It named 4 women as possible co-conspirators: Sarah Kellen, Leslie Groff, Adriana Ross, and Nadia Marcinkova, and granted them federal immunity in that deal. And what that tells you is this: predatory power rarely operates alone. It builds structure. Now let's go backwards, because y'all know this ain't new. Take the transatlantic slave trade, right? People love to frame it as violent white men in ships. And yeah, white men engineered and financed it, for sure. But inside that system were women who participated, women who managed plantations, women who disciplined enslaved people, women who oversaw the punishment when the men were away. Now look at the antebellum South, right? White women weren't just passive observers of slavery. They upheld it, they benefited from it. They enforced racial hierarchy in households and in communities. The system relied on their cooperation. Now fast forward to Nazi Germany. Irma Grese and Ilse Cook. Women who supervised camps. Women who selected prisoners. Women who enforced violence. History doesn't soften them. It doesn't pretend like they were just standing nearby. They were active participants. Even in organized crime networks in the early 1900s, there were women who handled finances, transported messages, and shielded operations because the police underestimated them. Underestimation is a strategic advantage, and systems use it. Now, here's the pattern. When we see a woman inside a predatory network, people instinctively want to say that she must have been manipulated. She didn't know she had to be under his control. And sometimes it's true, but sometimes she's recruited because she's effective, because she could recruit other women, because she could reassure victims, she could smooth suspicion, because she made danger feel safe. And that role is powerful. Society wants women to be nurturing, inherently moral, safer, right? But history doesn't support that myth, does it? Women have been overseers, enforcers, murderers, financial operators, recruiters, ideological defenders. Not always as victims, sometimes as architects. I'm a girl's girl, but I'm not delusional. Some women build, some women protect, some women survive, and some women help monsters feel comfortable. History doesn't blur that line, and I won't either. Everybody in them files need to be locked up, thrown underneath the jail. Shit. What happened to public stonings?
She said, "What happened to public stonings in this situation?"
Yeah, y'all don't piss that baby off, boy.
I'm pissed off, Doc.
But she right though, man. She
Yes,
right, man.
sir.
She is right.
She right on it, Doc.
She right on it, man. And I
And you
think
know,
that's the sad.
we talking about the men,
Hmm.
but we ain't talking about the women that they gave that immunity to.
That's the point. Yeah,
Mm,
that's the point, man. So at the end of the day, here we are.
here we are.
Here we are, man.
Now, Doc, you sent me some hot off the press today.
What
So we had to say breaking news on this one.
that? He said breaking news.
Breaking news, Doc.
I'll let
Because
you,
how
boy.
in the heck
Mm.
is a black woman that was getting SSI because she had cancer?
Hmm.
Then all of a sudden they gonna say because of her immigrant status, and number one, she's not an immigrant, she's a citizen,
Yep.
but she can no longer get SSI.
No longer player.
How is that, bro?
I don't know. She was born in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, man. I don't know how you make this up.
And she probably don't have a passport.
No, baby ain't been nowhere.
Been nowhere.
Dallas, Texas. That's it.
Oh, let me run this beautiful game footage right now, right
You can't
quick.
make
Let
this
me
up.
do this.
Have you ever lived out of the country?
No.
Have you been out of the country for 30 days or longer?
No.
I went further.
Have you been out of Dallas County?
No.
Ever in life?
Never. I am shocked.
Kidney disease took Ramona Rakestraw to dialysis at age 28, then a transplant. 30 years later, back on dialysis and a cancer diagnosis in 24. All that time, she's received SSI, Supplemental Security Income from Social Security. Shocked when it stopped last October.
And so when you called them, they told you what?
They told me my immigrant status was being questioned. And so I said, well, I'm not an immigrant.
But there are circumstances that can trigger flags about citizenship status. So I ask.
Have you ever lived out of the country?
No.
Have you been out of the country for 30 days or longer?
No.
I went further.
Have you been out of Dallas County?
No.
Ever in life?
Never.
Rakestraw says she took her ID and her birth certificate, born in Parkland Hospital, 1966, to her Social Security office. Then receiving this letter from the Social Security Administration.
Saying we cannot give you your benefits.
We cannot pay you benefits because you are not lawfully present in the U.S.
That's my income, my whole income.
Now, you do have the right to appeal.
Yes. And I have written out the forms and everything, and I am appealing.
If you receive notice of benefit denial or suspension, you have 60 days to request an appeal. You must have an in-person meeting and update your status to prove citizenship. Your case will be reviewed by a different person than the one who made the denial decision.
And you hope that's approved?
Yes.
What happens if not?
I don't know. Let's just take it a day at a time.
Okay, here's the new bugaboo now. A black woman got tagged for immigration or immigrant status, but she's been getting SSI.
All alive.
Okay,
And yeah.
this is what we doing. This is what we doing. Trump administration. This is what we doing.
Well, again, your people Doge gutted Social Security and everything else.
Yeah,
And so now you got this, and then you'll have people that can actually be there and help the woman through the case. And also, there's such a backlog now. So now it's going to be a problem with her getting a proper hearing quickly. So it's a triple whammy on her, you know. But to come and say her immigration is being challenged, she's in here unlawfully. She got a social security card number. She got a
right,
birth certificate.
right.
Born here in 1967. Ain't been nowhere. And so here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go, man.
Here we go with this mess.
Yeah.
First it was Wick. Now it's this mess.
Because they're searching for money. They
Yeah.
searching for money. And the ones that are most vulnerable, that's the ones you're going to grab. So
Right.
this is where we are. But it's a series of when they can pull it like that, man. Something that you know is obviously it's not
Right.
immigration at all.
Right. You know that woman ain't no immigrant.
Not according to American status, but according to the
Ooh,
player.
Lord.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It's really sad, man.
It's sad, Doc.
Yeah.
And then, Trump got the nerve to send his people down here to Georgia to come get the voter registration so that he can check fraud. But the fraud is being done with his boy, Elon.
Yeah, you think?
Right.
Yeah, buddy.
And even Georgia found him wrong.
Exactly.
They said he was violating, but nobody's saying nothing about it. What?
No, that's why you see how quickly they dismissed that case here in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
Go figure. Go figure.
Okay, here's the beautiful beam footage on this one. Watch this.
This is from the article. If Donald Trump's administration really wants to find evidence of foreign interference in Georgia's election, then they need look no further than the president's old friend, Elon Musk, and his shady super PAC. Members of the Georgia State Elections Board voted Wednesday to issue a formal letter of reprimand to Musk's America PAC over the billionaire technocrat's illegal scheme to get Trump elected. Georgia, a key battleground state in 2024, was the target of aggressive campaigning by Trump's team. In October 2024, the Georgia Secretary of State's office launched an investigation after receiving numerous reports from residents across several counties saying they've received partially pre-filled absentee ballot applications from Musk's America PAC. According to John Fervier, I think that's how to say it, the state's election board chairman.
Now, right, first of all, the state never mentioned this
No,
about
this ain't
Elon Musk.
right,
Okay.
right.
Then, second of all, you gonna send the richest man in the world a reprimand, a letter of reprimand. What is that gonna do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But say they did something. That's all that
Exactly.
is. Yeah, man.
This
These your people.
no, these not my people.
This your state.
Now you gonna then y'all gonna come together and y'all gonna say, okay, we gonna give him a letter, a reprimand letter. Really? After he done tore up half the government?
As this surprises you. Yeah. But again, this
I
is
ain't
where
gonna even
you
play
are.
that. I ain't gonna even play that, bro.
Just don't get mad.
No, bro.
Tell the people.
It don't make
But
sense.
no, it don't. But this is where you are. And again, when you don't control media, they'll paint the picture that they want you to believe.
Right.
So this is where you are.
Right.
And again, when you look at Joy and you look at exactly what happened as far as the election, your boy called in. You can't make this up. Your boy called in.
I just need
And
11,000.
you got the boy on tape.
Yeah.
So why we having a trial when you got the man on tape?
On tape.
On tape.
Right.
And so that's just why we fast forward to this, and your boy has already padded the election. You're gonna get just 700 ballots. That's all you came here to get. Out of the 2020 election, you're
Right.
gonna get 700 ballots.
Right.
Okay, make it make sense. Make it make sense. But you need 11,000 to prove there's fraud.
Right.
But you only pull 700. Okay.
And then bear in mind, though, you already lost. So, what is this proving?
Nothing, man. They need that 700 to pull out of there what Elon, padded election with. That's what they need.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
And that's
Because
what they're trying to do this time.
yeah, because Elon sent pre-filled, election ballots to electors to just sign and send in. So again, when you look at what American PAC did, they actually sent out prefab ballots already filled out. All the electors had to do is fill it in and send it in,
Right.
or sign your name, fill it in, and there it is. So that's what that 700 is. When you look at what county they pulled from
Right.
and where them ballots went out, that's exactly where it is.
Wow.
Like I said, you can't make this stuff up.
You can't make it up.
You can't make this stuff up, man. And you're gonna wait to 6 years later to pull this stunt. Okay.
Okay. Before the midterm.
You know it. You know it.
Because you already like, oh, I'm losing big time.
Oh, you're gonna lose if the cards are right, you're gonna
If
lose
the
big time.
if the
You know?
cards are right, that's what it's got.
If
Yep.
the cards are right, player.
If the cards are right and the fix ain't on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pray, bro.
Yes,
Pray.
sir. Yes, sir. Pray hard. Pray hard, y'all. Pray
Pray.
hard.
Yeah, man. But that book on dark money, secret money,
Yeah.
I think everybody need to get their hand on that because it talks about how, again, once that Supreme Court ruling came down
Right.
and made it lawful
Right.
for your corporations to pad these elections, it's over.
It's
You
over.
don't know who's funding who.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm, man.
So
Well, right. I guess I want to go into the main topic tonight
that's not the main topic.
because yeah, we got a main topic tonight.
I thought election integrity was the main
Well,
topic.
well, yeah, but it's something else too, bro. It's something else.
Bring it.
Man, this eminent domain
Oh God.
in this country,
You don't want to touch that.
bruh.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
We
mm-mm,
got to touch it, man. We got to
mm-mm,
touch it or something.
mm-mm. Well,
How can you have 600 acres of land
that boy.
and the government? This ain't even the federal the local government.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's both of them, the federal and the local.
Yeah.
Come in
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Oh, we need that land,
That boy. Yeah.
and this is how much we gonna give you for it, but
Mm-hmm.
you got to give it up."
That boy.
Say what now? But I ain't selling the
Yeah.
land. No, you
Think
got
you
to.
ain't. Think you ain't. Yeah.
Okay, here's his first beautiful beam footage on eminent domain.
Eminent domain is the term used to describe the government's power to seize private property for public use. Eminent domain is frequently used by transportation departments building highways through developed areas, for example, but other forms of big infrastructure and capital investment projects might also depend on the ability to seize private property. You can imagine then that eminent domain can be very controversial. It doesn't help that government hasn't always used this power wisely or fairly. One other note of caution if you're thinking about adding eminent domain to your vocabulary, make sure to avoid the common mistake of pronouncing or writing it as imminent domain. I am not exactly sure what eminent domain is, but it sounds kind of scary. The power of eminent domain is described in a section of the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution called the Takings Clause. These few short words have been subject of some intense legal scrutiny over the years, but let's just say that the line between constitutional and unconstitutional is being constantly litigated. One of the most famous Supreme Court cases involving eminent domain, Kelo versus New London, even inspired a major motion picture called Little Pink House, which was released in 2017. The 2005 ruling in that case decided that the government's power of eminent domain included the ability to seize property for the purpose of economic development, even for private interests. So you can see why eminent domain is a critical concept for planning. Its legal definition determines the boundaries of public power to seize and redevelop private property. And because it pits ideas of individual liberty and property rights against ideas about social good and public welfare, eminent domain creates one of those ideological quandaries that makes the work of planning so immensely challenging and intellectually stimulating.
Okay, they do this thing through the DOT, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can say, well, we need your property.
Right.
And we need your property for this reason, for to build better highways or to build railroads and things of that nature, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we got a case here in Georgia that's about 2 hours away from, 2 hours east of Atlanta.
Right.
That this family has had this land for over 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
600 acres.
Right.
And there's a railroad company trying to get that property.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, they will probably get it because they have already been awarded the property.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
But now they're going back on appeal,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like they're going to be awarded that property.
At this point, yeah. I think that's why a lot of folks,
Yeah.
especially younger generation,
Yeah.
need to educate themselves
Mm-hmm.
on what the law is. Okay.
Right.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, you need to understand how these decisions are made.
Right.
In Georgia, it's the Georgia Public Commission.
Right.
That body there is the one that signs off on these kind of deals. So
Hmm.
you got to be very careful who you put on these commissions that you don't actually vote for. As far
Right.
as you look at it like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
No, you need to see who you putting on these commissions,
That's right.
because when things like eminent domain comes up, they're going to be, the main ones. And unfortunately, when you have a body in Atlanta deciding issues in Washington County, and you have no idea of the history, you have no idea of the demographic, you have the makeup, none of that. You can make a decision behind closed doors because you're not concerned about the ramifications of it. You're only looking at the Sandersville Railroad track that's
Right.
trying to come to somebody's land,
Right.
but you don't care how it affects them. So that's what you got. Know what you got, man.
Right. So you got 51% poverty in this city. And
Mm-hmm.
most of it, of course, are people of color.
Bingo, bingo.
And usually when they do intimate domain, it's the people of color that they touch our communities actually.
Yes, sir.
And they always do it to us. But somebody else, they find some kind of green space or something so
Mm-hmm.
they can have their properties.
Right.
But here's the wonderful beam footage on this story right here, and you can see what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Driving across their nearly 600 acres
Yeah, you can see a lot of little trees over there. You see the tops of them.
never gets old for Blaine and Diane Smith. The history just as rich as the timber crops they've been farming.
We used to go down there. It's a special rock that we like to sit on.
Blaine's enslaved ancestors lived and worked on this Sparta land. Now, he and his wife own the very property. The family among the less than 2% of black farmers nationwide.
My father farmed this land almost all of his life. My grandfather farmed it most of his life. He bought it back in the 1920s. During that time, he raised cotton, corn, peas, all kinds of vegetables. But it's still in the Smith family. Not one piece of it has gotten away.
Until this September. State leaders decided parts of the Sparta land are no longer theirs.
It's my property. You don't have the right to take.
But a private company does have the right to take it, according to the unanimous vote from the Georgia Public Service Commission. The agency, comprised of 5 elected officials, oversees eminent domain. Eminent domain, the right of a government or its agent to appropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. In Georgia, the process starts by first condemning the site. The Georgia PSC members agreed private company Sandersville Railroad could legally condemn 9 properties in Sparta, including parts of the Smiths, for the company's Hanson Spur project, a 4.5-mile spur connecting raw material producers to the CSX rail line in Hancock County, essentially hauling rocks that be used to build concrete. The company argues the train project will improve infrastructure, but the Smiths feel railroaded.
How you gonna condemn the property?
Eminent domain.
100 acres? I mean, no, 600 acres?
The part they're gonna cut through? Yeah.
Wow.
Georgia Public Service Commission. Think of it now.
Where's that lawyer been? What's his name?
Oh, come on, man.
Where he at?
Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Where
You
Al
need
at?
Johnny Cochran is who you need. You need Johnny.
Well, Johnny going to be with the Lord now.
Well, bring him back, god dang it.
We got to bring it back, Doc. For real?
It's called resurrection power.
Yeah.
Put your hands on him. Put your hands on him, boy.
Yeah, that is the Lord want him to come back. But
And man, we need Johnny.
We need Johnny, Doc.
You need resurrection power, boy. But again, like I said, the Georgia Service Public Commission.
You saw it,
Check him
right?
out. Yeah, you better check him out.
Check him out. And
That's
they
the problem.
the ones that say, okay, we condemn the property.
Hmm.
How you gonna condemn a property?
Because that's the
I
first
mean,
step.
a property like that.
Because again, that's the first step. That stops everything. Once that property's condemned, you can't build, you can't do nothing. Nothing. And it sets up the again the legal fight. And when you have a corporation such as Sandersville's Railroad going up against two black individuals who don't have deep pockets,
Right.
the end is inevitable. So that's why again we got to start doing a better job of talking to folks about what's going on as far as the process. And this again goes back to y'all both caught in Target. and, and you,
Really? That's what we
I
do?
I have not seen one bring an issue like this to the forefront to start bringing the conversation around it. I haven't seen it.
Now, they representing them actually is the Institute for Justice,
Hmm.
but they're a nonprofit organization.
Critical word,
Nonprofit.
non-profit
Nonprofit going against a corporation.
with deep pockets,
Deep pockets.
deep pockets,
Deep pockets.
and you got to stay on your side.
Ooh.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Wow.
So it's gonna have to be a groundswell from Washington County, Sparta, Georgia. That's what's gonna have to be, and it can't be just one little day. It's got to be sheer pressure. And I don't think people know, what's the end game? What's the long term run? And these young people who are in that area
Mm-hmm.
are so quick
Mm-hmm.
to want to come to urban Georgia,
Right.
that you give up the most important thing that God's not going to ever make more of, which
Land.
is land.
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if that's in your family, you need to fight tooth and nail
Right.
to protect that. You
Right.
know,
Right.
so I don't think people really know what real wealth is, and that's an issue. That's an issue,
Right.
especially in this stage right now of the game.
Right. That is an issue right there. And they pick the places like Sparta, Georgia,
Hmm.
because it's 51% poverty there.
Hmm.
The minimum income is $22,000.
Right.
And so who do they have to fight for them?
Nobody.
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 Because they're the least, the left out.
Yep.
Wow. And even going through this process, who's trying to teach them how to go through this process? Because if you're not used to this process,
Right.
it'll frustrate you. And plus, they have to go all the way from Sparta all the way up to Atlanta to
Hmm.
have the case.
Right. Right.
That's crazy. But the
Yeah,
land is
man.
Sparta.
Yep. But again, the stage is set. The cards are stacked. So I
Mm,
don't think we're in a place where you can just haphazardly have a conversation, have a sound bite, and you're done. You need to have legal minds.
right,
You need to have, again, people who understand the process with the Georgia Service Public Commission.
right,
It's all those targets you got to have on the playing field and know somebody who knows how to navigate it.
right,
If you don't, you're just spinning your wheels, you
right.
know. And that's what Sandersville is based on, that you don't have the thrust, the understanding, the thrall to deal with it. It's going to just go away. And unless something change, it is.
Now, bear in mind, of course, Sandersville Railroad got to pay them for it. But of course, they're going to call it fair market value.
That part.
And look where you're at. You're in Sparta, Georgia,
Yeah,
where you can buy land so cheap be,
supposedly.
because of the place and the economy.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It depends
But
on y'all. It depends on y'all.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the thing, man. Is when they say just compensation, that
Yeah.
word just
Just.
jacks you. It
What is
jacks you
just?
up, man. But your boys did it here in Atlanta. That's how
Yeah.
you got the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Now your man, Consume Reed, told the people that I could have used Eminent Domain.
Eminent
I
domain.
could have used it, but I didn't. Yeah, right. Yes, you
But
did.
see,
You
but see,
basically threatened folks.
this is what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go and they offer you whatever they think that market value or that just price is.
That part.
And then you say, no, I'm gonna fight for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So since you said you're gonna fight for it, we're going to court, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is take the money that they said that they was gonna pay you and put it in an escrow account and let it sit there.
Right.
So when the case is finished or when the case is done, here's your money. Thank you very much.
That part.
And that's how they do it.
And then all the money you spent on legal fees comes out of what was an escrow.
Right. Right. So you just signing over the check to,
that
well, I
that
guess that's why they're using a nonprofit organization. Because,
that part.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they probably got some fees in there somewhere.
Oh, you know they do. You gotta
Yeah.
recoup your costs. You gotta recoup your
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah.
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 Mm. Okay. Back to the beautiful beam footage on this.
Mm-hmm.
They are just one of at least a dozen local eminent domain cases in recent years, from Atlanta to Newton County. Current statistics are few and fragmented, but Atlanta News First Investigates found nationwide data. A 2007 study revealed when eminent domain was used for private development, it most often impacted areas where more than half of the community was made up of people of color. Nearly half of the area's population sat below the poverty line. In the city of Sparta, where the developers are building the railroad, census records show 51% of residents live in poverty, the median income at $22,000.
We're here in a county that really needs new opportunities, new job growth, new tax base.
The railroad company president, Ben Tarbutton.
Have an annual impact of $1.5 million.
Dollars that could make sense for a struggling town. It's how the company has pitched the project to residents. However, Georgia law states economic development is not a justifiable reason to take property.
It really is not supposed to be factored into an eminent domain case.
Well, they go hand in hand. I talk about jobs because that's what really matters to folks.
Tarbutton says the train would only travel one round trip per day, 5 days a week during daylight hours, that it would not be a nuisance to landowners.
They feel like you guys are robbing them of their family legacy, of their family land.
Well, I understand that, and it's the condemnation process is a last resort. We have had multiple conversations with the landowners.
While several other property owners made deals with the company, 3 families are holding out, including the Smiths, in part over fears if they give up land now, the company could take even more.
Now he said, now for us to run the trains once a day would not affect the landowner's property, right? That's what he said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not pay the landowner money for using the property, but letting the landowner keep their property?
It's too easy. That sounds too much like Wright. That's why they ain't gonna do it. It
Wow.
sounds too much like Wright.
Bruh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So that's where you at. Now, again, he started him and Han when he started talking about taking people's land and stuff like that, because he knew that topic there doesn't affect their particular community.
Right.
And you just saw in half the cases in the name, it always comes back to black folks.
Right.
Always. People come.
Always.
So that's why you got that. So his argument is null and void to me.
Yeah.
But to your Georgia Public Commission, it works.
It works. It works. Now, that's just not here in Georgia now. Got another case in Mississippi where that went down.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's the thing. Mississippi is what? The poorest state in the United States.
Boy.
So that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we gonna eminent domain on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But the people fought back. But it's a catch-22 with it.
Always.
Because even when you fight back, and you might have won right now,
Mm-hmm.
that don't stop them from coming up 2 or 3 years later
Again.
saying, okay, eminent domain on your property still.
Mm-hmm.
And them taking it.
Mm-hmm.
So running that beautiful beam footage. Here we go.
Unbeknownst to the homeowners, someone had come on our property and taken pictures of our home.
It's a 171-page document you need to read. It was all black homes, and I say, they have redlined our neighborhood.
Everybody has always maintained their homes, did the best that they could to maintain their homes. So it was really upsetting.
And transparency is not happening here.
I don't even get a phone call, I don't get a letter, and the next thing I know, my property is just listed as blighted.
It's going to destroy this community. I think that's what it was intended to do.
It's all about the money.
They would give us pennies, and they would make millions off of it.
Essentially erase the history that this city was built on.
I never thought that I would see the end of this community.
If they get what they want, I imagine it would destroy us.
That's a problem. That is absolutely a problem, and it's unacceptable.
We're not giving in, we're not giving up.
We're not gonna move, and we're not for sale.
Like I told you, these people right here, they fought and they won.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't stop them from coming back again to say, okay, eminent domain still on that property.
Right. Right.
So what happens if they come back a couple of years later, or even if they've been deceased and then come back on their children or their grandchildren or whatever to get the property?
Mm-hmm.
There's still a problem.
Still a problem.
Yeah.
But that's the whole idea. Like you're saying, they want to wait them out if all possible. And again, when the old school leaves, that's the hard right, man.
Yeah.
When the elders walk off, by sheer time, anything is possible. Especially when you have young folks chasing a dream, you know, and that they're chasing dreams outside of a city that they think can give it to them. So that's the issue, and it leaves that particular community vulnerable to economic development, and it also leaves vulnerable to people who recognize it's just a matter of time, you know, before we can erase, like the gentleman was saying, the history of the city. That's the thing you're trying to understand.
Right.
And when you can just cover up a whole community and run a train or run a highway through it, then more is lost than just houses. You know, you're losing so much, man. So much, man.
It is. Because even with the quote unquote, as they say, it's not about economics, but it is. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
If that train goes through there, through Sparta, that's $1.8 million.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's what the city is looking at. If I put $1.8 million back into the city, that means they quote unquote say that means that jobs can come in. What jobs coming?
Boy, you talking about a one shot, you know, injection of funds.
Right.
Just by the building it. You're not talking about long term.
Right.
Okay. Like you're saying, there are no jobs that's created along the railroad.
No.
You know, it's not. So when you're looking at all the dynamics, when you talk about economic development, the only people being developed is the one that built it and the one that's being supplied by it. You know,
Right, right.
that's economic development for them. The ones in between, you suffer all day long. You know,
Because you're going to bring your people in there to build it.
nothing you are.
Because they know how to build it.
Yeah. So no, and the material like the rails and the wood and all that good stuff, that's gonna be contracted in. You're not gonna take it from Sparta. Sparta ain't got that. They
The
ain't got
Sparta ain't got
manufacturing.
that.
You
Right.
know. So again, this is not economic development for Sparta. This is economic development for Sanders and the ones who they're supplying. That's what that is.
Wow. Wow.
Words, boy, words.
So as you would say, this is some bullshit.
Playoffs.
That's what you tell me, huh? That's
Boy,
what you
this some
telling me, huh, boy?
yeah,
This is some bullshit right here
boy,
that's going on.
boy. So yeah, it's a play on words. It's semantics.
Yeah.
Um, and I take it back, you know, to my playing field. This is where your churches need to
Mm-hmm.
understand, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that this thing you call spirituality is more than
Right.
preaching a sermon.
Right.
You know, it's what is a Goliath in the
Mhm.
21st century,
Right.
and what
Exactly.
five stones you got to take out that Goliath in
Right.
the 21st century. You
Right.
know, David got his, but
Right.
Sparta got theirs. So
Yeah.
how do you do that?
Right.
So it's a conversation that we got to have in a different kind of light, and I don't think we're doing it fast enough. You know,
No. No.
with things coming down the pike, man, and as far as the landscape changing, we're not turning it like
Right.
we need to
Right.
as
We still trying to
fast
fight. We still
as we
trying to
need
fight
to.
Target. We
Hmm.
still trying to fight Target.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
But take on eminent domain.
Yeah. Exactly.
Take that on.
Because that law really need to be changed. Period.
Well, you know it do.
Because it's been in effect for so long. And you know why it was put there. Is to take our land
Yeah.
from us
It
legally.
benefits. Yeah. The
Yeah.
other side. The other side.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay.
I know, right? Don't get mad.
No, I ain't getting mad. I don't get mad, but I'm like, for real? This is how we doing this?
Yeah.
This is
Because
how
again,
our land can be taken?
yeah. But see again, Jay, this is where you have the deficit of people who want to be smart,
Mm-hmm.
but you are actually ignorant on the conversations that you're
Yeah.
talking about. You
Right.
know, it's okay to talk about Black history. It is.
Yeah, it is.
But how does that history connects you to today? You know,
Right.
when you can make that particular understanding and see why your laws are crafted the way they are
Right.
because of slavery,
Right.
then you'll know how to combat them. But if you don't know how the slavery, you know, dynamic was written
Mm-hmm.
into your constitution, you don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
You know, and so target becomes the answer. You know,
Right. Right. That becomes the answer. And Brother Wright just left me. But yeah, that becomes the answer that that you know how to deal with it through that versus to being versed about on what to do, how to do it, and how to go about it to where now legally you're able to even deal with the situation on a legal level, on a legal basis. And that's where we got to get back to because even the Bible says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And not because of the devil, but for the lack of knowledge. Because if we have a lack of knowledge, then guess what? Things can be taken away from us. We can perish from it, things of that nature. And we really, 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 really must get that knowledge, even about the intimate domain, about all this stuff, even with politics. And I know politics is a heavy thing sometimes, but hey, we got to get some knowledge on that to see how we gonna maneuver and how we gonna navigate through those times. Because even if you look at our ancestors, You look at them, you see a lot of firsts. They were the first to do this. They were the first to do that. And there was a reason why they were the first, because they figured it out. And they figured it out by a sure intelligence. And so since they figured it out by sure intelligence and by taking wisdom and knowledge that the Lord had gave them, then that means that they could be the first, and they can take it even further to where they can now open it up. They can open it up for the generations that are before them, or the generations after them, I should say. So that way you're making a better life for those generations after them. But for the elders, hey, the elders got to lay the foundation for that. But there's nobody really laying the foundation these days for that, because we lack this knowledge that we need. All right, this has been Uncommon Sense, the Uncommon Sense podcast, right here on thetruevision.net and senseux.com every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week.